Mountain gorilla tracking. That was the main reason for our visit to Uganda in 2008. But before our small group set out from Kampala to explore the countryside and national parks, we took a boat ride to the Chimpanzee sanctuary on Ngamba Island in Lake Victoria. This 100 acres of rainforest is the home of 42 orphaned chimpanzees, many of them victims of the bushmeat trade. Because the island's vegetation will not support their large numbers, the chimps are fed twice a day, and visitors are invited to observe them at feeding time.
So Sunday is the tallest chimpanzee?
This not only provides much needed income for the sanctuary, but also promotes learning about these not-so-distant cousins whose DNA is roughly 95% the same as ours.
This is the farmer. He's one of the high-ranking males. And that's Eddie also screaming, one of the high-ranking males.
What does the signal mean? Oh, he's
So we're just taking him in their own direction. But fortunately, we were caught by one of the other families. Come and then rescue him.
Chimpanzee newcomers have to be protected from the adults, particularly the alpha male and his cohorts, because chimps are aggressive and may attack a stranger in their midst. That's why new arrivals are at first only introduced to older females, who usually become surrogate mothers to the young orphans until they're finally accepted by the group. Chimpanzees in the wild continue to decline. That's why the sanctuary fosters greater understanding of chimps by working in the areas where they live. Members of these communities are encouraged to see the island's orphans free of charge, and the school children are also brought to Ngamba to learn the importance of preserving chimpanzees and their habitat. We were quite impressed with the sanctuary and its mission. The chimpanzees seemed content in their new home, where they will spend the rest of their lives. Because they have lost their fear of man and are 4 times stronger than humans, releasing them back into the wild is not an option. The next day, we encountered wild chimpanzees at Kibale Forest National Park. Wild chimpanzees usually take flight when humans approach, but the group we tracked had been habituated to the frequent appearance of strangers. It can take several years of daily tracking by the park rangers before the chimps no longer flee at the sight of man.
Carrying the baby on the back. You see her? You see, seated comfortably.
The group we observed seemed to tolerate our presence well enough, but moved often and quickly. Keeping up with them was not easy, but because they tend to vocalize loudly, we at least had an idea which direction to follow.
You hear there's a party here, the big one is here, so they have to keep in touch. Chimpanzees are just like us. You hear? So this female's name is called Bujune, and Bujune means it means someone in sort of pain or sorrows. And if you look at her clearly, she doesn't have the left hand completely. It's cut off completely. It happened because, there's some people that sneak into the park and make what we call it traps. So you see the hand, eh? You see what I was saying? The arm misses the hand completely. And this was the snaring in the past. So close to almost 20% of the chimps that we have here have some related injuries to like fights in the forest and mixed with even snares in the forest. Although people don't target them.
Almost 2 million chimpanzees once lived across 21 African countries from Tanzania to Senegal. Today, fewer than 200,000 are left in their native habitat, and their numbers are still dwindling. Only education, conservation, and protection provided by parks such as Kibale will give them a fighting chance to survive. I'm John Kay for the Maue Foundation.